Well, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Jill, Rowdy, Chris, Polish, Caroline, Morticia, Stars. Good to see everybody. Hey, Gary, Thor, Pascal is a douchebag. He's only interested in spreading misinformation, speculation, because that's what his audience wants. Well, and that's what we've come to learn, right, Thor? That is exactly what the audience wants. Hey, Nina. Hey, Truth Seeker, Ruby Doo, Doobie, Ruby Doobie Doo, to the rescue. I like it. Hey, Jor, Catherine. Yeah, unfortunately, that is exactly what the audience wants. And it feeds it, right? It feeds what the audience wants. And some people have acknowledged that they don't really care about the cases or the effects of their so called content. They just care about the views, the money, the subscriber count going up, you know? Hey, True Crime and Chaos, Christy A, Silent Angel, Freeside, OG Fish, Patty, Sunflower Girl. How's everybody doing? We are halfway through the week, thankfully. It's been a long one. Hey, Gemini. Hey, CJ. Evil Queen. Mel's Bells. I am expecting a very important phone call during this stream. If I get it, I'll try to put a video layup to let you know that I will be right back. If the call takes longer than expected, I will end the stream and come back after. Betty, Roberta, Jason. I like your new avatar. Hey, my Melody. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. 5678 and Titanium. Brittany couldn't even say the victims' names last night. I don't watch your channel. I usually just watch the beginning, and that's what I caught. I'm fuming. Did you know that it is without a doubt a fact that the grandparents of Sebastian, the parents, that they hid in the garage, and any car that drove by that house, they would jump out and chase. That's a fact. A lot of these call-in shows, a lot of the callers are elderly, and I think they just want someone to talk to no matter how that transpires. Yeah. It is what the audience image. Imagine how many of us were stuck on Watts Island. That many creators came from Watts Island. This case had many speculations for 3 years. Hey, Rainbow Mom. And there are still more to be had. Hey, Sophie. We run the live stream. Hey, B. Yeah. As fact. Hey, Mr. Predicto. So I like that, right? They just hid in the garage, and anybody drove by, they got out and chased. And apparently the grandparents just don't care because they never said, "Hey, girl, where's my grandson?" You can't make this shit up. These people. I often wonder, like, do these people, are they really, I don't know. Are they that detached from reality? Do they really think they know that much about other people's lives and the conversations that are being held? Do they think it all has to transpire online for it to be factual? And I think they do. Thank you, Brooke. 1 month. Oh, I appreciate you. The constant misinformation drives me nuts. Yeah. I think what it is some of these people are so used to putting so much of their own lives on YouTube that if they don't hear it on YouTube, they think it didn't happen at all. Like, for example, you don't think the grandparents said, "Hey, where's my grandson?" You don't think they said that? I mean, of course they did, right? Hey, Trish Green Eyes, Goody Two Shoes. Welcome back, my Melody. Hey, Mander. Oh, have fun on your road trip. Yes. Well, apparently it was the garage. They're hiding in the garage. Now, listen, there is a lot of speculation when it comes to Sebastian's case, right? And what I heard the other day on Pascal's, it did have me a little, he got me a little bit, right? And I'm going to show you why. I know he's not a fan favorite, and I get why he's not, but this seemed to be important information I don't hear many other people talking about. So hold on, let me get it. From blasting their business on these YouTube streets, then they get angry when people repeat that business, right? Hey, new account. Bring your own helmet, not the hose. Okay, so I found this. to be very interesting. I don't know. I don't know how factual it is. Listen, people are talking about the fact that the grandparents are on vacation and all these things. Is it odd? Yeah. Could it be that they had this planned out for so long in advance that they had, like, I don't know, what can them being here do, right? Like, do people understand that the real world has to go on? Would I go on a vacation if my grandchild was missing? I would hope not. But do I know why they went on that vacation? No. Hey, Nicolina. Hey, Jenna. In general, what amazes me is how many people know more than law enforcement, forensic experts, medical examiners, coroners. Just because a YouTuber says it doesn't make it fact. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of people shouldn't be given legal advice. I'll tell you that much.
The link that I have, I guess, is not.
All right. So this company here. Where'd it go?
As best as I can. Trust and believe. It's just a lot of emails, y'all. Okay. And I am one person. I am one man. All right.
Oh, shut up.
And of course, they left. But the that I have, I guess, is not working. Hold on.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. So this
Search
company
for
here,
Sebastian Rogers, including partnering.
this company here is basically implying that there was supposed to be a presser this weekend, but they have received new information. Hey, Smoother, they've received new information, and that they believe, without a doubt, that Sebastian is in a different state in a school. Could have been planned, and they couldn't get a refund. Sebastian's parents said, "Go and relax." For all of us, right? There's so many reasons it could have happened.
With Teams Alaska to release press announcement and live conference this evening with tip information update out of Mississippi. Now, what's interesting is that there was not a post or a press conference, because somebody said, "Where's the press conference?" They said some information is being verified with a release delay following the weekend. Thank you for the follow-up, or
Hey,
thank you for
Christine.
following up, right? Then there's another one.
Now, listen, this does get weird. Okay? I hope it's true. All right, I'm not that much of a hater. I hope it's true.
Okay, first off, it says, Uvalde found it. Okay, in fact, continuing its independent efforts to find Sebastian Rogers, which is great. They're still helping out. Okay, they're still looking at things. Primary focus is now on school communities, including renewed focus in Mississippi. And I'm wondering why Mississippi, right?
Mississippi school, and then patrols teams in 3 states are on alert. This could be something. Now, I don't know if it's something, but this could be something, because it sounds like this organization, I don't know their credibility. I don't know how much involvement they are. I don't know. But it sounds like they are leading to believe, which, if you recall, Seth was saying similar over on Dolly Visions, that they know where Sebastian is. I mean, Seth has straight up said he knows where Sebastian is, and nobody at all blinked an eye. Nobody. Hey, Megan. Puerto Rico. Funny if you right now all of a sudden, he's over in Puerto Rico, and you would think people that play other people's video as content would absolutely have YouTube Premium. Hey, Leslie. What do you guys think of this? Her school's musical, and we take turns feeding them on the nights that have dress rehearsals because they don't get home till like 11:30. That's really nice that you guys do that. Hey, Summy. Hey, Solo.
But let's continue on. Then they posted another thing, said urgent. Okay. They are, in fact, continuing in okay. So in Mississippi, school patrol teams in 3 states on alert. All right. So primary focus is now on school communities, including renewed focus in Mississippi. Hashtag Sebastian, find Sebastian.
I'm going to go ahead and voice my opinion on Seth. I am. Oh, thank you so much. Catch me if you can. Thank you.
Hello!
I'm trying to be nice because there's a lot of people being nice, but I can't believe it when it comes to that. All those people in a group to exchange shitty info. Yeah, and here's the thing. So we hear that Steph just hired another PI, right? Another PI. Now, it's hard to do without sounding like you're bashing the parents, which again, Seth has openly stated that he knows where Sebastian is. Why didn't anybody stop and say, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute? We need a little information pertaining to that. What do you mean that you know where Sebastian is? Why didn't anybody stop and say, wait, hold up, elaborate? Because you know damn well if it were the Proudfoots and they stated they knew where Sebastian was, heads would be rolling, right? But nobody blinked an eye when it came to this one. Jim Terry's back around. Hey, Evan, welcome.
Rogers, school patrol teams in 3 states on alert, which is also interesting, but it continues getting more and more interesting. Okay, so it says,
Hey,
and I guess they were like responding to their own, or they're retweeting and putting this information up on top of this.
Does anybody else hate when a creator speaks to the audience like they're stupid? Like, thank you for explaining the obvious.
While the foundation has been off the radar a bit publicly regarding our aid to find Sebastian Rogers, we have done so to remain focused on the search rather than the hype, drama, and theories spreading nationally.
Now, imagine being part of the spread of those theories and reading that like it's no big deal, right? Hey, Delaney. Hey, Revival. I'm with you. Go Bulldogs. Oh, yes, I'm positive, Morticia. Would you like me to play it for you? Because what was crazy is the creator that had him on when he stated that was more interested in trashing the Proudfoots than actually listening to what he was saying, right? So, hey, Bracket, put a 1 in the chat if you heard it. Put a 2 if you want me to play it. Sebastian is a 15-year-old child that is missing and has been missing. I believe we're on 46 or 47 days now. Little slow. Well, that's true, Jason. That's true. We got to break it down, right? We got to break it down. 2 live views did not hear it. Oh, Morticia, thank you so much. 5 gifted memberships. Wow, live you guys did not hear that? All right, hold on. I am shocked. All right, so well, before I exit this and go play that, what do you guys think of this information that this organization believes, for whatever reason, that Sebastian is in a school in a different state? 53 days just, Debbie? Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, this is crazy. And I find this information to be crazy as well. Any thoughts on that? I think it would be great. I hope it's true. But then who did it? And don't they realize how much trouble they'll get into? Okay, so hold on. All right, it is over here. I'm going to use these to stream so that I can't be struck. Believe he does know because he was involved in my opinion. I'm with you, Wood Fairy. Sorry, I am totally with you. I don't know the exact timestamp, but we'll find it because I was shocked.
Well, whoever wants to be me, they don't realize what that tells, because I don't even want to be me right now.
No, Nicolina.
Yeah, I believe that.
There's people that everybody has an opinion, but I don't have social media, so I don't really have to listen to their opinion.
No, you don't. You're doing the
social
work.
media.
He's
on
your son.
social media.
I just want to find it. That's all I want to do.
At what point did you start getting the suspicion.
Here's my
BJ.
issue is this man.
All right, so I can go over. I was waiting for her to pause. I can go to her timestamp. So 2/18/50. 2/18/50. All right. Lights, cameras, action. Lights, camera, no action. I'm sorry, because it's a joke, right? It's a joke. All right. So we're gonna do it this way so that we don't have these commentary.
Well, whoever wants to be me, they don't realize what that tells, because I don't even want to be me right now.
I believe this one was 5 days ago.
There's people that everybody has an opinion, but I don't have social media, so I don't really have to listen to their opinion.
No, you don't. You're doing the work. He's your.
You know what drives me nuts about everybody has an opinion? Everyone has an opinion. He doesn't have to listen. He is on the lucky praise receiving side. He has no idea.
Your son.
I just want to find it. That's all I want to do.
At what point did you start getting the suspicion that maybe you're not being told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from Katie?
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Like you're not in the courtroom. It's just bizarre. She's just bizarre. Probably
pretty much day one wireless.
Probably when you YouTubers got in his head and convinced him that all these years of having co-parenting and getting along just fine suddenly was never fine. Seth said he didn't hit Sebastian at his head landed. Yeah. And there was a mark on Sebastian.
Changed it multiple times.
Okay.
I mean, for the first 3 days, I was at their house until Chris decided that he didn't like my sister setting up a GoFundMe.
So on day 3, listen here. On day 3, Seth and his family set up a GoFundMe against the police recommendation. Police said, listen, attorneys, they said, no, we shouldn't have set up GoFundMes. But Seth and his family did. And nobody blinks an eye because it's Seth. And right now, Seth is the great guy. And Seth is the great father. And Seth is all, and everybody's just tearing apart Chris, who wasn't even in the town, wasn't even in the same state, right? Of course they did, Joe Madre. I can't stand parents that blame all the downfalls on the other parent as if they're not responsible as well.
Didn't like that, and it's like, well, you may not like it, but she asked, and I told her she could, and it wasn't for finding Sebastian or anything like that. It's my sister knew that I wouldn't go back to work because my son's missing. I got to find him.
Again, I ask you all, if the Proudfoots did a fundraiser 3 days after Sebastian went missing, how many people would be outraged? How many people would be judging them for that? That's his claims, right, Trish? That's his claims. This man says he knew the Proudfoots are unfit, Sebastian was not safe, and left him there. How does that make sense, right? And when they asked that Sebastian go live with Seth, Seth said, I'm going to give him another year.
The fact is that he didn't like it, and I had to deal with it. I'd like to think that neither one of them had anything to do with my son's disappearance.
People would have lost their minds.
They could always come, help pass out flyers, help search.
They're not safe
I've never told them that they can't.
They're not safe to go pass out flyers and do things like that, but they have been putting out flyers. Right. He did exactly what they agreed not to do with the fundraiser. And then imagine, I'm just going to say, you have this guy who claims he's the best father. He saw Sebastian twice a month. Admittedly, never paid child support because they didn't have an agreement for child support, la-di-da-di-da. And 3 days after his son disappears, he's having a GoFundMe. I mean, people would be angry if it was other way around.
They just chose not to.
Well, what pisses me off is that, they can't get off their dead asses to go search, but they go sit at the damn Cracker Barrel.
How dare
And they
they?
say it's because, the public's so mean to them. Well, I mean, aren't there people at the Cracker Barrel?
Can you let that sink in for a minute? How dare they go eat? How dare they go to Cracker Barrel? And aren't there people at the Cracker? Yes. Yes. And they had their phones out. They had flyers out. I mean, what were they supposed to do? You think they were there enjoying this fantastic meal?
Yeah. It's allegedly somebody's leaking my address and my phone numbers out to people.
What does that mean,
I
Seth?
still don't have anybody showing up at my house until yesterday.
Okay, so listen to that, right? People are leaking out his phone number and his address. Nobody has showed up to his house. Your house isn't where Sebastian was last seen. You would think that as the ex-husband of and the mother of his children, his child, that he would care about her safety. I think it speaks volume that he doesn't.
I had somebody actually walking the street taking pictures of where I live.
Me too, Summy.
I stood on my front porch smoking a cigarette and just stared at him.
Wow.
I mean,
You so tough.
welcome to the
I'm
Constitution. You have the right to sit there and take pictures of my house from public property.
Hey, Forever Army. Now imagine if Seth was getting death threats and publicly being disparaged in so many unbelievable, harassing and threatening ways. Do you then think he would have sat there and just smoked a cigarette and been all nonchalant? Right, because they don't, Victoria. I agree. Because they would be in so much legal trouble if they did. Hey, Mac, no, you did not. What kind of? But hop on. Right? Who wants to prepare a meal when, right, daily? I mean, could you even imagine? He got a PayPal set up to help find Sebastian. Now he's instructed to not look from the doctor. Charce, thank you for mentioning that. As soon as that fundraiser was met, all of a sudden he was no longer allowed to go do searches. But the whole point of the fundraiser was so that he could go do searches. Then he's telling people not to donate to the GoFundMe, not to donate to the Sebastian Reward Fund, but to go directly to his and YouTubers' cash apps. Right, Bob G. Unreal.
Yeah, how about it?
Doesn't bother me at all.
I don't think they know.
I don't hide anywhere. You'll find me. My truck's pretty noticeable.
I sent you a message in private chat with my email and phone number, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Get on a personal level. Because I tell you what, Seth, the moment they stop having information to use against the Proudfoots, they will be trashing everything about yours. There will be leaking your private conversations, and you will no longer be on the pedestal they have placed you. They will drop you like a hot potato, like they dropped every case before yours. Wiccan, I disagree. What makes you think the Proudfoots aren't doing squat? Because they're not out here screaming it? Yes, and he even said Chris cannot hold that over his head, making it very clear that the Proudfoots did not want that information out there about Sebastian. They didn't want it out there. Rightfully so.
Can you see that?
Yeah. See where it says one where I've got a message. Now I got two.
Now you got two. Look at that. You're popular.
See, and that's gross. That's gross. Because that's exactly what they're making him do. They're making him feel like he is popular. They're making him feel like he is respected and adored and loved. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's only a matter of time before they throw Seth flat on his face. I've worked together. Right, Sophie, but they have creators like this getting in his head. He's already angry. He wants to place blame. His son's missing. I mean, he's even claiming the police did nothing. They've done nothing to help. And, they're really getting in this guy's head, and they will drop him as quick as they have picked him up and made him their hero. Absolutely. We've seen it time and time and time again, and it's sad. I left her chat saying he's ready to send a $5 super sticker saying we do this because we care. Bullshit. I just played a clip of her saying she does it because her channel grows. Look at all the ones. We've seen it. It's sad. We've seen it time and time again. I think the divorce painted a picture of Seth that was not pretty, and he is getting his revenge right now, because right now he is praised as the good father. He is praised as the good guy. It's coming
More
up, by the
popular
way.
than I really ever wanted to be.
Yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly. Have you been talking, I'm sure, regularly with law enforcement?
Listen to what this says.
They're not going to give me any information.
Police are not going to give him any information. Wiccan says this little boy did not run away. He was autistic. He did not leave the house in the dark barefoot. With utmost respect, he was not a little boy. He was a 15-year-old teenager, right? Secondly, he was recently diagnosed with autistic. I think a lot of people are taking the autistic name and putting their own perceived identity with it, right? They're making it their own, what they vision autistic child to be like. And has been stated many, many times that he was recently diagnosed and he was like your average 15-year-old boy. Now, both parents did at some point say that he has more of the mentality of a 10-year-old, right? And I get that. But at the same time, when people like Dolly's putting like the baby, and then he's saying Karen Reed has the hot for him in the same title. Shut up. Sorry, that was just a whole unnecessary rant, but come on. I do believe, even at 10 years old, that a 10-year-old would walk out of the house. Here's that phone call I was talking about. Give me just a moment, guys. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I didn't realize that the little short video did not keep playing. I'm sorry to put you all on hold. It was a very important phone call. As some of you know, a lot of things have been going on. It's been really extremely stressful. I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have. So I do apologize that I put everybody on such a long hold. But I appreciate you guys holding by and waiting.
I got tired of giving them, because I was getting leads, and it was like I was giving them leads, but I believe that they're talking to Katie and Chris more than they're talking to me.
Thank you, guys.
It seems to me.
So do you hear what he just said there? What they're saying there is that they're talking to Katie and Chris, but they're not talking to Seth, right? And you know why they're not talking to Seth? Because Seth is out here giving out all their information. You know who's not? Now, if they really, you don't think if the police, with all this investigation, if they felt that Chris and Katie were involved in any single way, they would not be giving them updates. Guess who they're not giving updates to? I'm sorry. I personally feel like the wool is being pulled over everybody's eyes. I do. A lot of situations, the narcissist comes out trying to claim they're the victim, right? And a lot of situations, the narcissist comes out and says, oh, well, I'm only here because of your actions. And they have a way of placing blame on other people. And they look like they're the shining star. They're the victim. They need the pity, the woe is me party. You just heard Seth himself say the police are no longer speaking with him.
Maybe because they have all the answers they need from you.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it.
There's a lot of questions about when you saw the video of Sebastian at the restaurant, what was he wearing?
Yeah, I got in trouble. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that.
Okay, well then don't say anything. That's okay.
Yeah, I got in trouble. Yeah, I'm just jeopardizing my son's case and justice and in the name of me feeling popular, right? Popular is what she called him. Seth brought that on himself. Ellie doesn't like him leaking stuff online, but instead of taking the blame, he insinuates the Ellie is corrupt and taking bribes from CP. Thank you, baby Firefly. Hey, Tara, good day to you.
Don't want to get you in trouble.
Welcome, Time
Well, I
Traveler.
already got in trouble. Trouble is one of my middle names.
Okay.
Well, that's cute. Can anybody imagine if Chris Proudfoot said Trouble is my middle name? Again, these are flags that people would be waving. It's just unbelievable.
Do you know if they have searched the RV and their cars?
Of course they
I have
did
no
it.
idea.
Why would they?
I know they haven't searched mine. I've literally told them they can search mine,
And I'm sure the Proudfoots did as well.
Now, what is all of this?
See, Wiccan, this is where I don't know if you like being if you like going on panels, but you're welcome to come up if you would like to have a conversation. But because I would love to listen to your input and ask you or see if we can have a little friendly discussion about this. Because let me ask you this. How is Seth helping trying to find his kid? I see him on every YouTube channel. No, he's not out camping because lucky for him, his house isn't his life isn't being threatened. His house isn't, under radar of YouTubers driving by 50 times in a row and people threatening their lives. So yeah, it's a little easier on Seth, if you ask me. Matter of fact, I wouldn't doubt if somebody bought Seth a camper for him to go camp. That's how lucky Seth has been in all of this. But unfortunately, the Proudfoots, yeah, they just haven't had the same public praise, right? Right, Katie did say that. Thank you, Polyester. It's driving me nuts. And part of the issue is this right here, because I'm not going to lie. Part of the reason I dislike Seth is because of all the praise he's getting. And it makes me look at him differently. It makes me wonder what his motive is. Right, running for your life is not vacationing. Having people try to run out in the same park you're at isn't fun. followed him home that day, tore his house up, searched his vehicle, and did forensics at his house, but not KP. Right? Oh, Wood Fairy. I'm gonna calm it down.
Panic talk about polygraphs. You're in law enforcement. You know polygraphs. They're not admissible in court.
Nope.
They can be fooled. I understand you took one recently.
Now, surely Steph's going to come back and say, well, I'm not really in law enforcement. Right? I'm not really in law enforcement. No.
Yeah, they're still grading mine.
Grading. Okay. Grading his. And nobody's saying, wait a minute.
Why all the different stories from Chris Proudfoot? You know him better than we do. Why one day has he taken one? The next day, TBI said he didn't need to take one. Then he says he took one and passed. Then he said Nancy Grace lied to him.
See? And instead of her asking, Asteroids and have to sit on an inner tube. Oh, 16 months. You're amazing. Thank you. This is where I get annoyed, right? Because if this lady didn't just have in her mind that she wants to trash the Proudfoots, she would have asked Seth, what do you mean they're grading your polygraph? When was it done? Did you pass? Did you feel like you passed? But instead, she's right like, well, how come Chris Proudfoot is lying? The mom and screaming from the mountaintops, find him. I don't care for Seth either with these YouTube rounds. As a mother and child in her care, I'd be begging the public. Be fam, she did. Let's not forget, it wasn't Seth that came out here and said, help me, my son's missing. It was Katie. And then the public soon took out their pitchforks, and there was nothing that she could do to turn back the way these people felt about her. She's not safe screaming on top of that mountain anymore. She's not safe doing it. Doesn't mean she's not, just because it's not on YouTube doesn't mean it isn't happening. They did 3 public interviews. 3. 24. Oh my gosh, 2 years. That's amazing. Thank you, Christine. Good morning, Batgirl.
Question that would be, I mean, just so many stories that you can't believe anything that the gentleman says. You know, we took a polygraph at the beginning with Katie. I took one because Miss Grace asked me to.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you volunteer one sooner, Seth? Oh, my goodness. I'm with you, Go Bulldogs. If Seth gave a damn, he would have taken his meds before the poly. I said what I said. After all, he's law enforcement. He knows that you can't be under substances when you take the polygraph. He knows that automatically makes it dismissed. There's no point in taking it. He knows that. Sure did.
I don't know if he's taking one or not.
You know, I'll tell you what my guess is, Titanium. Tara says, yes, Seth came on the scene weeks after he went missing. The mom and stepdad were the first to make a public plea, not Seth. I think that if Nancy Grace ever offered me a polygraph, I'd tell her no as well. I would. How many of you would trust Nancy Grace? Seriously, put a 1 in the chat if you would trust Nancy Grace. Put a 1. Put a 2 if absolutely not. I would never trust her and her producers to take a polygraph ever. You can go ahead and cast me with your doubts before I ever put my reputation into Nancy Grace. She knows what's going to sell. She knows that it's going to sell to say he failed or it was incomplete or, oh my goodness, I would never. If the police had any doubts on on Chris, they would have forced the polygraph test.
I don't understand what it's like.
Hey, Damaris. Good to
I'd
see
rather
you.
have still been that private person that I was before. I'd rather have never had to be on a podcast, never had to be asked an interview. I'd rather have been, my son living with me, me going to work, coming home. My son.
Is that what you rather, Seth? Because it seems to me you'd rather spend more time on YouTube. Have you told any of these channels you have befriended how you denied having Sebastian come live with you, despite you now stating that they were unfit parents and you knew Sebastian was in the hands of unfit parents? Have you ever come forth and admitted that? Refused to join the mom and stepdad and making a public plea for, I don't know if he refused, but I know he certainly was not involved. Wiccan, you've been doing the most bashing of the parents with utmost respect. It seems like you're the one that's going channel to channel bashing the parents. That's all you've done when it came to the Proudfoots in here. So while I agree with you, unfortunately, we have reached the stage of the case where that is what is happening. And I'm going to point out how I think it is unfair that it is happening. How so many people they already named who the enemy was, so much so that they were ignoring the red flags from the father.
On there, all this that's going on is just a lot of stress in my life that nobody really ever needs.
And I feel like it does, in my opinion.
As I was told, better suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
So I did. I've never been one for interviews. So I enjoyed my private life, going to work, coming home.
He's been anything but private, though. Nobody has taken your private life from you. You know what? You've taken Sebastian's private life from him when you came out here and told us his horrific information. That's whose private life has been snatched. With zero say in it.
Spending time with my son.
You barely spent time with him.
If I'll ever get to spend time with him again.
Oh. Calm it down. Let me stop. All right. Pride on YouTube. Watch how quick she goes back, Sebastian.
How are you feeling physically? I know you said you had to go to physical therapy. Is that for your shoulder or just all the above?
Oh, shoulder.
Actually, it was for my neck. They said that my shoulder pain was being caused by my neck. So.
Oh, his neck pain. See how they throw these little things in to make them act like they care about him, right? I'm crying for Seth and Sebastian. Oh.
Christine Alaska wants to know how we can help.
Best way to help is, besides keeping your head up and your eyes open, is passing out flyers.
Now, that's great. I love that he just said that because that's true. The best way you can help. How many of these YouTubers do you think have actually went out and passed out flyers or posted flyers? You think any? You think anybody who's claiming $200 worth of paper and print on their taxes has actually gone out and printed this boy's flyer? Posted it? Did you write off the tape? Bet you didn't.
That's where tips and stuff come in because people might be seeing my son.
I believe that, baby Firefly, but I don't know that for sure.
Let's light the chat up for Sebastian, please. Sebastian's Army.
This is exactly what I was saying, Wiccan, with utmost respect. So you have, through your personal experience, you had this idea of what every autistic child should be, but having an autistic son, you yourself should know that there are so many. It's a spectrum for a reason. So what is odd for your son may not be odd for the next autistic child, right? And I'm seeing this all over YouTube where people are like, well, so-and-so, my child's autistic or my neighbor's child's autistic or the autistic child I know would never do X, Y, and Z. But it's a spectrum. There are no X, Y, and Z's. Every child, autistic or not, is different in many different ways.
I see the godfather of the case has made it in. That is me. Let's light the chat up for Sebastian, please. Sebastian's Army. I see the godfather of the case has made it in. That is our friend Trevor. I'm sure you know Trevor, Seth.
How gross is that? How gross is that? Terrifying situation for these families. She can be a real a-hole, an absolute a-hole. She talks so desensitized. So here comes the Godfather. How quickly Sumner's army was replaced with Sebastian's army. What a mockery. What an absolute mockery.
Trevor Lee? Yeah, I know Trevor.
Any intuition, inkling, or anything where Sebastian could be?
I have my ideas. I just don't have the resources I need to track it. So pretty much just winging it.
Surely she's going to say, what do you mean you have your ideas of where Sebastian is? Where is he? What resources do you need, Seth? We have given you the voice, the money. What resources do you need, Seth, to go get Sebastian? You know where Sebastian is? Tell us. Maybe we can help. Tell us. Right. Tell law enforcement. FBI. What does it mean that he doesn't have the resources? What hasn't been given to him thus far to know where Sebastian is and not have the resources?
Are you getting any advice from the people you work for?
Why would that be your next question? Why wouldn't you say, what do you mean? What do you mean? Seth, you know where he is? Tell us. Where do you think he is? Are you getting any advice from the people? Again, he is leading people to believe that he is law enforcement. He's not law enforcement. But wait, there's more. That's not including all the cash apps that are being dropped. He's also driving.
I think his sound cut out a little bit.
Let me put the phone down and drive, Seth.
Okay, there you are. Think you're going to have to refresh your mic.
I find it alarming that nobody else found it alarming, Karma. I agree.
Are you there?
Because he's now saying that
Can
law
you hear me?
enforcement isn't helping
Okay,
him.
now we're back. Do you have any thoughts on Chris Proudfoot's family? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Why are we back to bashing at Proudfoots? He just told you he knows where Sebastian is. That should be a conversation breaker. Mom, boss, May, I'm new here. I'm a mother of 6, and I've been searched for weeks until I was watched and followed for miles. My family told me not to go alone again. My 5-year-old passed out flyers in Nashville. Wow. Mom, boss, thank you so much for being out there. And I'm sorry that it has led to this place where even searchers are no longer safe to be searching. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you what, if I had live streamers and these YouTubers and these conspiracious people following me as I was actually searching, I'd be scared too. Is that what you heard, Tara? How many people heard what Tara heard? Just give me money. Give me money. I got the resources. I just can't get there. Give me money. Office supply stores, printers, novelty apparel manufacturers will gladly print flyers, signs, t-shirts to help find kids. Well, I'm sure you can buy one through one of these YouTubers' merch sites. He said Ellie was frustrated with him bringing them a bunch of wild theories. I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were. I'm sure they're also tired of him being out here telling what law enforcement has. He has ideas on where Sebastian might be. He never said that he knows for sure. We'll just hold on to that, Thor. Okay, just hold on to that. Let's also remember what he said over on Dolly's when he was all giddy and smiley, and he said he hired 3 PIs at that point. Let's remember what he said over there as well. That Sebastian is within a homeless encampment and they are taking care of him.
His sister has made some kind of really strange statements, and his mom and stepfather, their goofy asses took off to Alaska.
Now, nobody finds this strange, the statements that Seth is making. Thank you so much, Mom Boss. Thank you. Nobody finds that strange. And now we're calling them goofy asses because they went to Alaska. Chris's parents went to Alaska, and now they're goofy asses from this goofy ass. Okay.
Right after Sebastian went missing.
Yeah.
It was not right after. It was like 25 days later or something. It was not right after. Nobody did anything right after. Hey, Spitfire. I was terrified now. People are sending me screenshots of my videos showing me where the people were hiding watching me. I found the dirt mounds. Oh, that's so creepy. I am so sorry. If I hear Alaska one more time, I'll tell you, Terry. I'll tell you.
I know they did.
Where's Seth's parents?
You know, for
You know, it was stated today that because Katie's parents have not come out and said, "Hey, girl, where's my grandson?" And that is a quote. It was stated that they don't care because they never came to the public and said, "Hey, girl, where's my grandson?" Has anybody saw Seth's parents? Have they been on the news? I think they were the ones that said they were tired of the conspiracies and people profiting off their grandchild, right? But have they ever came out and said, "Hey, boy, where's my grandson?" Of course not, because in reality, that's not how people speak. Not in these situations, and not everything is public.
the person that for Maddie to be sitting there and making the comments that I heard that she made on Facebook about that's my grandson, and for her to turn around and disappear to Alaska
Thank you,
with
Wiccan.
her husband Terry, that kind of actions speak louder than words.
They disappeared to Alaska. They disappeared to Alaska. Oh, golly. And what was sad, though, is it's not even Steph's fault, right? This is Steph's child. I'm being a little hard on him. I'll admit that. But this is his child. And right now, he is angry. He is lost. He is confused. He is sad. He's looking to blame people. But you got these idiots that are hyping him up. And believe me, you will and can be accountable for idiots that are hyping you up. Absolutely. I agree with that, Grissom Biscuits. I completely agree. They are step grandparents. Everybody wants to remind everybody that Chris is just a stepfather. But now we're going to hold. I mean, come on. Oh, I hope his surgery goes well. Disappeared to Alaska.
I've always been a person that believe actions speak louder than words.
Well, you
got that right.
Very loud. Oh, look at the skull. That's creepy. That's scary. What does that mean? What does that skull mean? I mean, with utmost respect, if this was Chris and this was his interview, people would be tearing that apart. That's how ridiculous they look and sound. Let's be as ridiculous as them and make everything a big deal. Right. And I'm sorry, Dazed and Confused, but look how far we are right now. What can the grandparents do to help in the investigation? Should they pause their lives and until the case is resolved? I don't know. It's hard to say what we would or wouldn't do in that situation.
So,
Because you have a child in your family that you can't find. You don't go to Alaska. He's not in Alaska.
How do you know that, Brooks? How do you know where he is? Why can't you go to Alaska?
Just like Katie going down to Mississippi with Chris. And she's like, well, because he could be anywhere.
Right. Exactly. So Katie's in Mississippi with Chris because he could be anywhere. Right. And what did that Yolvad place say? They're looking at places in Mississippi. Maybe he is there.
Trevor's in the chat. I put the link up, Trevor, if you want to come up.
Yay, the Godfather.
Trevor said Seth's actions speak volumes. He wants his son found.
Did anybody ever hear the saying that silence is deafening? I'm with you, Buttercup. Sorry, I really am. They went to finish up with work and came right back. And then they tried to hide from the public view. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I don't think what Seth is doing is good.
Do.
Do you know if you can tell us, you can tell us. If you can't, we're going to understand. If law enforcement's looking into any connections to them running to Mississippi or Chris's goofy family running up to Alaska.
Running. I thought they disappeared too. Now they're running. They're running to Alaska. They're running Mississippi. Guess what they're not doing? They're not running channel to channel, dropping their Cash App. That's what they're not running.
I don't know. I mean,
she's so
I don't
buried.
even know who's leading the investigation anymore. I don't know who's doing the investigations.
I'm going to pause this because this is important. She is so goofy trying to get Seth to continuously bash the Proudfoots that she is missing these crucial things that he is saying. 8 days ago, 15 searchers from Texas left Nashville for Alaska. They are professionals. I assume it was a legit lead. Are you sure? Because, I mean, according to these YouTubers, anywhere anybody in the family went is a lead. But we'll find out, Max, and we'll find out. So this is important because she is really just trying to get him to bash the Proudfoots. And now we're going to hear what he thinks about police and how he doesn't even know who's leading the investigation. They don't want his.
I've looked on Sumner County website to see if my son was on there. And he's not even on there under their missing persons. So I don't know a lot of stuff anymore.
Well, hang on. Isn't he on the TBI website?
He is on the TBI website.
He's on the TBI website, thankfully. It's hard not to be hard. Look at her backdrop. I mean, what are you doing?
Trevor said they haven't even listed him on their open cases. How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that?
Who, Sumner County or TBI?
Sumner County.
They don't care. It's money for them.
Well, my opinion.
But is it a red flag to you, Polyester, that he's not in the know? Does anybody else find that as a red flag? Yesterday, one of the PIs hired by Seth said Katie and Chris are not at the campground and that they are staying near their home. Should not want to disclose their location, thankfully. So, how do people expect this family to look if they can't look safely? How do they expect it? Paige, I can't tell you. I'm sorry.
On this matter is that the first 48 hours is the most important.
Where were you the first 48?
And they just marked it as a runaway listening to his mother.
And
they didn't take into effect that even though he's 15 physically, he's not 15 mentally.
Now I want to mark that because the first 48 hours as the father, he could have spoken up as well. But the fact of the matter is, in the first 48 hours, Seth did not have these suspicions. Seth did not have this gut feeling. Seth just said that Sebastian mentally is like a 10-year-old. The Proudfoots were drugged to filth for saying that same exact sentence. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard people judging the Proudfoots for saying that it was disrespectful to Seth. Exactly, Google account, because he cares more about his time in the public eye and his so-called quote-unquote popularity than he does in suing justice. Oh, that's how it appears to me at this point. I know others may disagree, and I understand. And you're welcome to come up if you disagree. But I absolutely, without a doubt, feel like these people are taking advantage of Seth and they're causing unnecessary problems. In the first 48 hours, Seth could have said, I think there's something shady here, but he didn't think there was anything shady here. Thank you. He was praising them, Baby Firefly says. Seth was praising the search efforts in the beginning. His tune has changed since the poly. He's placing blame on everyone but himself. So not many people heard that. That's okay. They said it. They were toured for filth for it.
As he's has autistic traits, and he's been diagnosed with autism, and then his chromosomal deletion. All of that, mentally he's not 15, maybe 10. And it took 3 days to get him as an Amber Alert. Their policies and procedures they're not designed for a child that is on the spectrum.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Hey, Paige.
Hey. Oh, I'm just finding this really, really hard to take.
Yeah.
Because she's pushing him to do something he may not be capable of doing, or he may not know. And it just is distasteful to me.
Yeah, his vulnerability and his anger is being taken advantage of.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And he's desperate to find his son. Who wouldn't be? But that doesn't.
But so are the Proudfoots. Just because they're not doing it in the format that Seth is, doesn't mean they're not as well. Like you said, who would it be?
Who? Yeah, and the Proudfoots are being the most smart about it by not saying anything.
Yep, and that's right. On his polygraph, he fell asleep, passed out several times during it. He took heavy medications before taking a polygraph. I'm sorry, there are red flags. There are red flags.
Very much so. Very much so. And you are always told before a polygraph not to take medication.
Right.
A good polygraph examiner will tell you straight up, before I do this test, you cannot be medicated because it will not come out.
Right. And he knows that.
Yeah.
Right?
And something's not right.
He's going around telling everybody, he's letting people believe he's law enforcement. He's not correcting anybody. Well, as law enforcement, you know that. You know what you can and can't do.
Yep.
And listen, I get it. We shouldn't be bashing the parents. I've been saying this all along as well. But with utmost respect, we are now at a point where that's all there is left to do. These parents have made it this way. The way Seth has gone about, and these people have dragged the Proudfoots while ignoring the red flags of Seth, is aggravating. Nobody is cleared as a suspect. Nobody. And that includes Seth, who the police won't even speak with anymore.
Yes.
Yep.
But the red flags are there and people are choosing not to see them.
Yep. Well, Titanium, what he said is he believes he knows where Sebastian is. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but it's not the first time he has said it. Then he said he doesn't have the resources. Okay, but the police and the FBI do, right? So I'm just saying, if the Chris or Katie ever said in any fashion that they have ideas of where Sebastian is, they'd be torn to filth for it again, because that is what people have been doing to them. He comes out and says it, and nobody even cares to ask him to elaborate twice now. He said it on Dolly's, and he said it on this panel.
Just something isn't right in my head about all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I get just a really bad feeling.
I can tell you what it is. It's a popularity contest. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he says, because now he's going on about the police.
And they should immediately have put him on the Amber Alert. And they should have definitely have investigated differently when it comes to the investigation part. The search and rescue is one thing. They did a lot for that. But they should have turned around and dusted for fingerprints, looked for anything that might have been out of the normal, you know.
No, while they likely didn't dust for fingerprints, they absolutely did look for anything that was out of the normal. Again, it is very unfortunate. I understand his frustration because it's his child. But in reality, when a teenager this goes missing, they don't fingerprint right away. They don't do all those things because they have no reason to believe their suspicion. And if Seth felt like there was from day one, which he did not, despite what he's claiming now, then he should have spoken up and made sure they did all those things. He was at the house for the first 3 days until he pulled his GoFundMe.
Yep. And also, the police will not investigate a teenager as missing until they find out if he's run away or not.
Right. It's usually the first 48 usually are crucial, but it is also within, they don't really take runaways or they don't really take missing teenagers as serious as they should. And that is a fault, but at the same time, it's for a reason.
Because a lot of teenagers who they think are kidnapped have run away.
Right.
And Tara's right. Law enforcement on the initial search did a lot.
Right. He praised them.
Yeah. And I don't understand why now he's going, the frustration, yes, but why he's going back now and contradicting himself.
Well, yeah, because he's angry and he's being hyped up by YouTubers. That's likely why.
This is a little boy's life we're talking about. And it's just disgusts me what they are doing to Seth.
Yep. They don't care.
No.
And they didn't do that. They failed my son.
They found my son.
I agree, because like you said, the first 48 hours is the most important. So why take her word? Why on earth did they not just conduct a proper investigation? Right.
See, this is what pisses me off, because instead of her saying, yeah, Seth, I understand why you would feel that way, but, you know, even you stated that the police they were fantastic in the beginning, and, you know, they did what they could with the information they had. That's what she should have said, but instead she's hyping him up.
Yep.
He did, Jason, he did. He did. He absolutely said, Trouble is my middle name, and nobody blinks an eye to it. But again, if it was Chris, they would. And instead of her saying to him right now, look, I understand your frustrations, but to be fair, you know, no, she's like, yep, I agree. They failed him. No, if you felt like there was something suspicious in the beginning, you were involved. You should have said it to the police, but you didn't. It wasn't until these YouTubers got in your head that you did. It's aggravating. 27 months, Gary. Oh my goodness. What a blessing. Thank you. It is aggravating.
It's just bothersome.
Yeah.
It is, because what's missing is, in all the YouTubers who do this, is Sebastian is still missing.
Yeah, right. Because it helps nothing. It does nothing. It doesn't give
No.
us answers. Hey, Kelly.
And they don't realize every time they do this, they could damage this case.
They have damaged this. Why the police won't talk to Seth anymore. They have. They don't care. Their channels are growing, their views are growing, their income's growing. They don't care. And guess what? And with everything that's growing, so are the days of Sebastian being missing.
Right. And the longer this goes on,
yep,
the bad outcomes that could happen. And it bothers me that they get away with it. Growing their channel on a little boy being missing is just disgusting.
Fortunately, it's the way of YouTube, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I did not chase him. Where was that? I did not.
Well, good question. Maybe their deputy chief could answer that question. But you know,
what did you see what came out last night on your local news with Nick Barris, where he said he spoke with law enforcement and said it's an investigation, but the DA won't do anything because they have no physical evidence. How can that even be possible?
This is a true crime channel.
It
And
is possible.
She wants to know how it could even be possible when what the fuck do you think's been going on? I mean, let's rewind that. Listen to that again. Ready?
Investigation. We came out last night on your local news with Nick Barris, where he said he spoke with law enforcement and said it's an investigation, but the DA won't do anything because they have no physical evidence. How can that even be possible?
It is very possible.
This is your true crime channel up there, folks. This is your top notch for growing information, true crime cases. She doesn't understand how there could be an investigation. Oh, I can't believe that these people are serious when they say this shit. Because there's no clues. There's no idea that a crime took place. There's a missing child.
Yes.
What do you want? If they said there wasn't an investigation, they'd be outraged. They say there is an investigation, they're outraged. Which part do you want? Oh my goodness. I'm glad
Well, and they have no physical evidence because they didn't do forensics. I mean, we're talking about they didn't tape off anything. They didn't come in. They didn't lumen all the house. They didn't dust his room for fingerprints that wouldn't have belonged there. They didn't do a fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do fucking shit. She says,
And the thing is, they probably did do things that he didn't see.
Well, I'm not sure they're going to fingerprint a room when there's no crime scene.
No.
But they did everything they could do.
Right. I just don't understand her.
Ugh.
Because the DA won't. How is that possible? The DA regularly in cases don't pursue cases because they don't have physical evidence. That's common. That's very common.
Well, not from these idiots.
Nope.
When it came to the investigation, they asked questions. Well, asking questions is fine if you're looking for a missing persons, but you don't know if, that press conference was just wow.
I was a little disgusted by the press conference.
Disgusted. You were disgusted. She was disgusted by the press conference. Disgusted. Right. And that is why Ali stopped talking to him. Evidence isn't meant for social media. Right. Oh my gosh. Disgusted. Didn't he say Sebastian walked out? Was there a break-in, kidnapping, abduction report? That's the only reason they would be fingerprinting. Well, again, he was there for the first 3 days. So if he felt like he knew that these parents were inadequate at being parents and he thought they were shady, then he should have spoken up and said to the police, I think this needs to go a different direction. But he didn't feel that way until now. Right. Too much law and order. Amen. Oh my goodness.
They think
a lot disgusting.
Sorry.
They think they know what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not right. Because if Seth had been in that house, he should have spoke up if he thought something was wrong.
Yep. What, Freya? I thought it was very silly of Seth to give a person pizza with chilies and hair to eat off the floor. I don't know what that is. Oh.
I was a little disgusted by the press conference. Well, a lot disgusted. And I'm sure it was kind of quite the punch in the gut to you.
Oh yeah, because they said they don't have anything, and then they want to sit there and tell me that, get mad because I ask questions, and then tell me that they only want legitimate leads when I'm sending them everything, and I'm like, legitimate leads.
Right, because you're sending them shit that YouTubers are sending you. You're saying things like, "Oh, the Proudfoots disappeared to Alaska," and he is doing what we have said that the coverage of these cases on YouTube have done for years now, which is fill up their hotlines with useless, stupid information and leads.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, you could say the aliens abducted him. There's going to be some moron out there that's going to agree with it. That's why the police don't want it wasted, their time wasted. They can't.
But but with the hotlines though, once tips come in, and if they get a lot of them, they have to pursue every one of them, and they probably don't have the resources.
Yeah, well, you know, you send them conspiracy theories from YouTubers. Exactly.
Yep.
Ugh.
You guys don't have any leads. That's what you're telling me. It's what you're telling everybody else. I heard that telephone call with Chris on it. You know, oh, I rode around with them. You know, they showed me this, they showed me that. Well, isn't that nice that you're not even a biological parent, and yet they turned around and showed you everything?
Oh.
Huh. Kind of makes me wonder how much somebody got paid.
Now Chris is paying the police. Now Chris is paying the police. He spent, I mean, with utmost respect, it sounds like Chris had spent more time with Sebastian than Seth, but you know, I digress on that. Why all of a sudden is this all a problem? Like, yeah, he sounds jealous. Like he's not even the biological father.
Yeah.
And, you know, why would the DA be involved when nobody has been arrested? There needs to be a probable cause for arrest. Then the DA. Yeah, got paid. He got paid. Uh-huh. Oh, I hope not. Right. And then he wonders why the police don't want to speak with him anymore. He went from praising them to insulting them and now claiming they're being paid off. I mean, come on. It's aggravating.
More than aggravating.
Because he's the last one that should be riding around with them. It should be you.
Then why didn't Seth ride around with them?
He could have.
There's a reason he didn't. I mean, you know, again, it's the police fault that he didn't go ride around with them. Why didn't he demand that he go with them?
You know, most of the time when you're doing a search and rescue for a child that's autistic, you'll have at least one of the parents, the biological parents, going with law enforcement because they could possibly scare the child and they need to hear a voice that is familiar to them.
So you mean to tell me that Chris's voice would not be familiar to Seth? Oh, I hope he gives it a break too, Andy. It's because it's getting to a point where it's like, come on, dude. Analyze and enhance where possible by tech experts with the TBI, FBI, Secret Service. Numerous search warrants have been executed. Cell phone data has been analyzed, and other available digital evidence has been collected, searched, and documented. Well, Chasen, how about the fact that he goes in to take his polygraph through Nancy Grace, heavily medicated? If that was Chris, it would be breaking headlines. Chris Proudfoot comes into my office heavily medicated to take a polygraph. What is he hiding?
And Chris, being law enforcement, should have known better.
Seth, but Seth's not even law enforcement.
Seth.
He's not law enforcement. I don't know why he's not correcting people. He is not law enforcement.
Was he a corrections officer, did they say?
Yeah, and any judge should be a correction officer. Review information has been collected since the search for Sebastian begun. Oh, it's just they don't care though, Chasen. It doesn't.
And yet,
No.
Katie didn't leave the house.
I thought she ran and hid.
And they never once took me to go look for him.
Oh no.
It was very upsetting to all of us that instead of calling 911, she called Chris, who was supposedly 3.5 hours away and some change. Minutes count when you're looking for anything, but most importantly, a child. And she doesn't even leave the house. Why was she not knocking on doors? Why didn't she call you? You would have been out there in a heartbeat to find him.
Who's to say she didn't call him? Not only that, but I mean, I think that's normal. Has anybody's child ever gone out of their range? You don't know if they're lost. You don't know what. You just know you can't find them. And you call, your partner, you're like, hey, this is really weird. I can't find so-and-so. You don't automatically think that your child has been kidnapped and will never be home again. So for those who are wondering, to be a correctional officer, you have to be at least 21 years of age, be able to pass a civil service written examination, be able to pass a drug screening, be able to pass a college psychological whatever evaluation, be able to pass background investigation, be able to pass through medical examination. You don't have to have any like law enforcement training.
Nope. But the majority of the jailers, like in our county, come from the sheriff's department anyway.
Yeah.
That's where they start out. Jailers.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. This is disgusting to me, listening to her.
You have to have a bachelor's degree or 3 years of experience in teaching, counseling, management, emergency response, or sales. Have no disqualifying criminal convictions. Have a good financial history. Be between the ages of 20 and 37 years old. And then they give you the training.
Yep.
They did call my phone. They sent, well, Chris called my phone and sent me a text message. Both of them knew I was at work. Why didn't they call Davidson County and ask to speak to my captain?
Mhm.
So they, instead of calling the police the way they did, they should have called him at his work. Okay. Coop going poop. I feel like he's blaming everybody and it's aggravating. I feel like everybody's a suspect right now. Nobody's deemed not. In Tennessee, thank you. Must be at least 18 years of age, must have a high school diploma or GED, must be able to carry a firearm, good moral character, must have no criminal record, must have a valid driver's license. That's it. That is it. Huh. Does have Sebastian's information on their Facebook page and an Amber Alert. Wow. Thank you.
It's a lot of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
My captain, I mean, they would have literally pulled me out of work immediately and I'd have been there. Instead of me being there, you know, after I got off work.
That is AT.
Doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. My son's not a runner anyways, and I tried to tell him that. But they don't want to listen to me. The state of Tennessee is, I have no faith in Sumner County. And the fact that they wanted me to actually come work for them, I ain't putting an application.
Oh, no. I bet they're devastated that you now won't be put in your application. It's just a shame that this is where it's landed. It's people like her that are hyping him up. Oh, I was disgusted. I was disgusted by the presser. And, oh, yeah, they failed your son. And no, they didn't. Hey, beautiful. They didn't. They did everything, and they are doing everything they can.
Yeah.
They didn't. I can't work for a department or an office that cannot. They still have my son's electronics. You know?
It's an open investigation.
Why? Why do you still have his electronics? Give them back to me.
You're an
because
officer,
it's an open investigation.
You know, why is it that I have researched and found more information that I'm pretty sure that they haven't? They haven't looked at it at all. You know, they don't have anything. From my understanding, besides having family that works there, you know.
Has the FBI been any help?
I've spoken with them, but it takes 60 days from the start of the case before you can request the FBI to come in and let the company or the organization that is doing the initial investigation ask for them to step in.
Right. Like good old Seth can't just request the FBI come in.
No.
He can't request it. I mean, it's just a shame, though, Audacity, that we know these things. And instead of these true crime creators taking a moment to tell Seth that I understand why you're upset, Seth, but this is the way it is. This is what they do. It's nothing against you. It's nothing against Sebastian. I promise you. The police and everybody involved wants to find Sebastian. Instead, they're telling him, you're right. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. Yup. They're probably being paid off. Yup. Why are they doing that to him? It is so wrong to do. He is vulnerable. This guy
Yes.
is angry. He's sad. He's not sleeping. He's heavily medicated. He's looking to blame everybody, and they are feeding that because it gives them great clicks and views.
And they're forgetting Sebastian.
Yes. Oh, Seth claimed he didn't even wash the presser. Huh, that's interesting. You know what I noticed throughout all this? We haven't heard Sebastian's name coming out of their mouths, not once. It's all
Nope.
about keeping his son's name out there, but we have not heard either one of them mention Sebastian's name.
They are forgetting him.
Yeah, they are backing him up because they want him to come back and not get angry with them. Yep. So they won't just be honest with him. They're treating it like a relationship. They're misguiding him that they care about him. It's disgusting. I trust Ellie. I do not trust or believe a single word Katie, Chris, or Seth says. They are all living through a nightmare. Trust the process. The good news is Ellie has a lot of experience with the situations. Amen.
Amen.
I am doing this. I'm not doing exactly the same thing, Purple. Also, you won't find Sebastian in my title. He's not my thumbnail. He's certainly not my background. But you're right. I mean, there's a thin line. Good morning, Wandering Sub. Chris did post that YouTube aren't allowed on his property, and he's right. It's a crime. Yeah, you can't trespass. Unfortunately, it's the way of the world. Doesn't matter if you think Chris is a piece of shit or not. Guess what I heard today, Jason? This is breaking news, guys. Breaking news. The grandparents of Sebastian, the parents of Katie Proudfoot, are hiding in the garage. And anytime a car drives past, they are running out and hunting them down. I couldn't believe it. Yep, that's what they're doing. They're hiding in the garage, chasing down the cars. Please.
And I personally believe that after 30 days, Sumner County not doing what they should have done
Oh my
at
goodness.
all, ever.
They've
They
done
should have released it
much.
to TBI and asked them to come in and given TBI 30 days to fuck everything up,
Oh,
and then ask the FBI to come in and actually do their job.
oh,
I mean, the FBI card unit at the least, because they have ways of knowing if he was abducted or not. That seems to be what Katie is leaning towards.
Yeah, she's leaning towards that now. 30 days later, maybe somebody took him.
and what were you leaning towards 30 days later, Seth? Well, thank you, Chasen. Thank you for arguing that on my behalf. I don't even have that energy anymore to argue with these people. If they can't see the difference, it's because they don't want to see the difference. If you want to label it the same, label it the same. That's where I'm at with it. But I do appreciate you, clarifying it's not the same. So Seth is allowed to change his mind 30 days later. Remember, for the first 3 days, he was in the Proudfoot home. He was working hand in hand with them and the police. He praised the police. He praised the Proudfoots. 30 days later, he's singing a different tune. But Katie can't think 30 days later that her son was abducted without it being shady.
Well, they've had plenty of time to clean their house, haven't they?
I thought they ran. I thought they weren't even home.
Plenty of time to destroy evidence that was there.
God.
So she had plenty of time to actually clean up any evidence before, we found out he was missing.
Really. Again, the first 3 days he was there. Hey, Tori.
I'm going to drop down, Jess.
Oh, thank you, Paige. I appreciate you coming up.
I appreciate you too.
I hope Paige gets really upset, and I get it. It is upsetting. Yes. Evidence of what? Evidence of what? Not only that, but he was there the first 3 days. On one hand, they're telling everybody how the Proudfoots ran. They hid. Now they stayed and they cleaned up and got rid of evidence. Pounds as parents of this child and discussing his trauma and all the issues in the family isn't the same as showing how these things are wrong. Unbelievable. I agree with that. When they say things like, "Oh, they have no evidence. You don't know what they have. We're not entitled to that," because it can mess up the things. It can mess up the investigation. It can mess up justice for Sebastian. It can mess it all up. Thank you, polyester. No, I wish Seth would come and have a conversation with one of us who aren't only looking to get him to fight with the Proudfoots, who actually care for his well-being and Sebastian's well-being and even the Proudfoot's well-being.
Because we don't even know when he went missing.
No.
No, now they don't know when he went missing.
Do we even know where Chris Proudfoot truly was? Do we even know if Katie was at home?
Oh my God. You're not
We
entitled.
don't.
You're
We
not
don't really
entitled.
know anything.
You're not entitled. They're just not entitled to all the information. What we do know is they have not been arrested. What we do know is they have not been deemed the primary suspects. We know that much. To the mom and stepfather either. No. And this has become a fight over who's more important when the only person who's important is Sebastian.
Thing.
God, they aggravate me.
We know approximately what time that they arrived back to the house, but that would be looking at the video cameras. Chris and Katie have had plenty of access to those from all their neighbors. It took them 5 weeks to show me proof of life after I had spoken to him on Thursday.
Oh, my goodness. Now they shouldn't have access to the video cameras. Right, Rihanna. It's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, as soon as he got proof of life, he came out here and told everybody all about it. He wasn't supposed to.
5 weeks.
Because they were sealing an investigation, Seth. They had to make sure.
Do you know if EquiSearch has plans to come back anytime soon?
I have no idea. And I'm not really particularly fond of David Radar's comments. He hasn't been out handing flyers out.
Either has the woman you're
I
speaking
missed
to.
it. What did he say? I missed it.
Either is the woman you're speaking to.
You what, ma'am?
Right. And let's not forget, in law enforcement's eyes, none of them at that point were deemed or cleared. I don't think they're cleared now. Hey, Irish. I mean, and he's talking about not handing out flyers. You think the woman whose panel you're on, who talks about your case and you and your son every day, who is hyping you to argue with the Proudfoots and discourage them, you think she's passed out flyers? Law Nurse says, I also believe Katie, Chris, and Seth has not forgotten Sebastian. My hope is Seth has a real friend to talk him down from this ledge. I've never gone through my child being missing. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Law Nurse. Thank you.
I said I missed it. What did he say? Because he's no Tim Miller. I'll say that for sure.
He had turned around and stated that he thinks it's ridiculous somebody would threaten somebody who's looking for a 15-year-old kid.
Well, it is ridiculous.
But my volunteers to hand out flyers have been followed. I've passed on license plate numbers to both Sumner County and TBI. In the press conference, they were like, oh, nobody's being threatened or, followed or anything like that. And then, yeah, David Radar wants to open his mouth. You were there with TBI agents, buddy. I've got civilians out here handing out flyers. I don't see you coming to hand out flyers.
What do you guys think of that? I mean, I get it. It's a frustrated father. I get that. But at the same time, come on, Seth. They have, I mean, for all, not for nothing, but Seth could be the guilty party. And just because he says he's not, the police are just supposed to take that at face value. I mean, the Proudfoots have said they're not. Nobody takes that at.
Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fact that they have drones and they can sit there and attempt to find my son. But what happened with this? They searched for 2 days last week. What's that? I mean, you searched for 2 days after After what? After over a month of what? Not searching?
Does he want people to search or not? This is what Dave at EquiSearch said. We were requested to assist TBI with their search efforts, which we have been doing for several weeks, utilizing our technological capabilities. Organization assisted in 2-day massive search. What more do they want? Does he want people to search or not? Is he going to disparage everybody who searches except for the people that he has out there putting up flyers? I don't get it. All he said is, yes, we weren't being threatened. Because guess what? Telling people that searchers are being threatened will prevent people from searching.
I've gotten information from people that doesn't make sense.
Right, Andy.
Rockland Park, for example. You know, I get some cadaver dogs, and then bam, automatically they find a dead body. But TBI was there the day before searching.
They didn't find a dead body.
Well, did you not have any type of dog to go with you?
Oh my goodness. They did not find a dead body. TBI was there the day before. Did they not have any dogs? 27 months. Ella Bella, you guys are amazing. Right, Trish, I appreciate you, but you're useless. Jill, it was not a dead body. The dog picked up on the scent of a deceased body. Seth is losing sleep at night. These YouTubers sitting there instigating issues with what they think is the truth. It's disgusting. I blame them all, right? Because they're sleeping just fine. Tearing up Marissa's flyers down. I kept replacing them. Wow, Spitfire. Doesn't make sense because it's not factual, because his info is coming from a psychic. Oh, thank you so much, KNS. AM, yes, may you come home. Absolutely. Hey, Blissful. Thank you so much, KNS.
No sniffers, no live dogs, no cadaver dogs. You know what? You just showed up and walked the. What kind of searching did you do?
How insulting. What kind of searching are you doing?
Doesn't make
besides
sense.
Searching for panels. I mean,
And what kind of a half-ass search is 2 days?
and what kind of half-assed person are you to insult the searchers that you use as content to make money? What are you doing, Brooks? What are your qualifications? Fucking soundboards and a squeaky voice? What do you do? I might even have to stop listening because this is pissing me off. Stop hyping this man up. This isn't a Lifetime show. This is his real life. They are manipulating this man's emotions, using it to their benefit to create the drama that they want. All the meanwhile, Sebastian is in the background, literally. Well, that is what he's doing, New Account. He's searching for panels to go on where people are going to praise him and tell him what a great man and great father he is and insult the workers instead of saying, you know, the searchers did what they could do, which is more than these YouTubers, such as this one. And they're trying, man. They're trying. Hey, Winnie. Should be thankful for any volunteers, any search. People are asked for anything in return. You continue to belittle them all. Right, Rihanna? It's sickening. They started post about Sebastian March 8th. March 14th, they began using drones to help search for him. Another post, March 22nd. They also did search. Oh, it is infuriating.
Good question.
2 whole days? What, to get donations and everything? That's crazy.
Well, I don't think they did any donations. I mean, it was Sumner County, TBI, and the FBI.
You're right, Colin.
They showed up to help search.
You're right.
Did they have a possible lead for where they were searching? I don't know.
No, you don't know. That's the point. You don't know.
Well, according to what came out on your local news last night with Nick Barris and he spoke with the district attorney in Sumner County. He said when they are told by TBI where to search, they go right out there. Do you see them out quite frequently searching?
I don't know where they're going to search because I don't get that information.
And there she goes again. If you don't see them doing their jobs, they're not doing it. It's only 30 seconds to find what they did. Right, Jason? And no, they have not said his name, not once. And you know what? The commenter that came in is right. There should be a ticker with Sebastian's name. Absolutely. And there definitely should be on her street. It is right. He never asked for donations, Jason. He never asked to go paddle hopping and spread his name and drop his Cash App. He needs to get it together, and he needs to these vultures, these vampires, need to stop emotionally draining this man, because it is affecting the search for Sebastian.
So
I mean, do the Bauer Sox and Proudfoots have that kind of pull in that community?
Here we go again. It is all.
I guess they do.
Oh, it's a conspiracy. They're all working against them.
I guess they do.
Well, have you thought about possibly getting an attorney to help you like navigate with law enforcement? And
what are you going to sue law enforcement? Are you really telling this man that he has grounds for an attorney? You know, that is what I found to be most wrong with the internet, is everybody is an internet attorney. Everybody knows how everything should work and how the law should work. And you always have people that will tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear, which is what is happening here to Seth. He doesn't need to hear that he could get an attorney. He does not need to hear that. What he needs to hear is that despite his feelings, justifiable feelings right now, people do care about Sebastian. They want him found. They are looking for him. But that's not what they want to tell this guy. That's not what they want to tell this father, because that doesn't bring them the clicks. It doesn't help them. It doesn't bring in the views. And that's sad. Sorry, I'm trying to edit this. Internet vultures, man. This guy's believing that nobody cares, and that breaks my heart. So many people care. Why would you incite this? Why would you want him to feel this way? Like, how soulless do you have to be to hype up his anger and his delusions and his misinformation?
and get things in the works so that way when Sebastian comes home, he comes straight to you?
Yeah, because that's where he belongs.
Thought about it. More along the lines of private investigators and things like that.
Oh, that's good, because you already claims to have hired 4.
I mean, I've already spoken with CPS, and I don't want him going back to their residence at all.
It sounds like he shouldn't be going back to either residence.
He doesn't deserve to be treated like that. Nobody does.
Treated like what, Seth? So you knew he was being mistreated? There are reports, a CPS report against Seth, where he blames Sebastian for why he was hitting his head. You know what, Jason? And I said that in the beginning of the stream. I said, drop a 1 if you believe, if you know, if you've seen this happen before, that they will, without a doubt, drop Seth right on his face and expose every private conversation he has ever held the minute they dry up and need content and he is no longer useful to them. And it's sad because that's exactly what will happen.
You have found a lot of stuff out about his treatment just through listening to podcasts.
Just listening to podcasts.
I can't even imagine how that felt.
Just listening to podcasts because they're all factual. It's horrible generally.
Listening to them make fun of the way he dances and the way he looks.
When did they make fun of that? When? When did the Proudfoots make fun of the way he dances and the way he looks? When? Because his mother said, you're so goofy? I just told my son last night he was goofy. You know why? Because he was being goofy. But you're listening to this woman who uses the word goofy as an insult all the time towards the Proudfoots, that you're now taking it that he was goofy. Was an insult. It wasn't. It's not. This poor guy is being so misguided. Hey, The Kill Shot, it's good to see you.
Seeing the reflection of the sneers in their facial expressions when they even talk about him.
Oh,
the fact that they can't even say his name.
You haven't said his name this entire interview. Ironic you would say that. People react differently in these situations. Let's not forget the parents from high-profile cases who would never, ever have done this. Their kids were missing too, and they were appropriate. Hey, East Coast. My son is amazingly goofy, right? Kids are... YouTubers do not want Sebastian found. The money dries up and the views go down. Amen. I've said the same thing. I call my 6-year-old a goofy goober all the time. It makes him get... Right. Remember the SpongeBob song? Goofy goober. Rah. This is unbelievable. He just said they have not even said his name. I heard them say that Sebastian was funny. These people are always saying they've never said anything good about Sebastian. Yes, they have. They have. And I love this because, again, we tuned in at 2:18. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I'm right. What point did he? Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, 2:18. From 2:17 to 2:47, they have not said Sebastian's name not once. Not once.
Of the sneers in their facial expressions when they even talk about him. The fact that they can't even say his name.
Why? What's his name? Tell us, Seth.
I know it's a lot to take on, but, and I'm no attorney, so you would have to get this advice from.
You know how many times I've heard in the past week, I'm no attorney, but let me give you legal advice. And the legal advice that was given was shit. And it's no wonder these people that are saying it are not attorneys because you don't even know the basics. This entire week, I've heard people say that. I'm no attorney, but you could go for X, Y, and Z, and you could do this. And if I just Google the laws, I know the laws. It hasn't worked thus far. And it's not going to work. Okay?
From an attorney. If you filed for, full custody of him right now, I don't know how that would go down considering the situation. Then law enforcement would have to deal with you and not them.
Yeah, because that would work, Brooks. Good legal advice there, honey. Yeah, now sneers. Yep, they're sneers.
I'd have to find an attorney. I haven't.
What would that require, Seth? More drops of your Cash App, more fundraisers? What would that require?
I've actually been looking for one, so.
No attorney's going to take up an open investigation when you yourself
turn around and look for an attorney.
Yeah, start looking.
Something else to do too.
Gives you something else, maybe less time. This is the worst you've ever seen? Silently judging
Well, you have a lot of love in this chat for sure.
If this is the worst you've ever seen, and you're not seeing
it.
the screens, please. Please. I'm sure she's devastated to have lost your respect.
I mean, I wish they would just lay the hammer down and say, you have until noon, which it's 11:49 here. I'm Central Time. I'm in Oklahoma.
Listen to what she says here. I know, Spitfire. This is the worst. Ah, believe me, I could get a lot worse. Listen to what she says here.
You have until noon. I'll just throw out a number to produce Sebastian.
Yeah, till noon. Yeah, Brooks,
Yeah,
that works
I've never
good.
known people to react kindly to threats. I know I don't.
Now, why isn't that a red flag, Jason? Tell me. Because I know I know without a doubt that my friend in my phone, Jason here, sees exactly what I see. She hears exactly what I'm hearing. Brooks just said, why don't they tell them that they have till noon to produce Sebastian or else? And what was his response? Because again, if it was Chris's response, I hit them, Jason. As soon as they commented, I hit them. Let's hear this again. Ready?
To produce Sebastian.
Not only let's not just hear it, but I want everybody to pay attention to Seth in this moment. Yeah, that's all it took. What? That's all it took. Agencies everywhere right now are like, you have till noon. Okay. Because again, this isn't a TV show. It's not a show on Lifetime. But look at Seth. Let's pay attention to him.
Noon. I'll just throw out a number to produce Sebastian.
Yeah, I've never known people to react kindly to threats. I know I don't.
Well, I mean, if it's law enforcement saying, you're going to go to jail unless you produce your son.
Has anybody analyzed his body yet? Long pause, look away from the camera. Has anybody? Thank you so much, Air Force. Has anybody analyzed Seth Rogers yet? I just want to do it one more time because we're going to let it roll out on this. Looking directly in the camera.
I'll just throw out a number to produce Sebastian.
Yeah, I've never known people to react kindly to threats. I know I don't.
I know I don't.
Well, I mean, if it's law enforcement saying, you're going to go to jail unless you produce your son.
I don't know if they can do that. I mean,
that's your true crime creator.
I'm just throwing things out there, but I mean, I think an attorney would help you immensely.
I think you're making a fucking mockery. Put a 1 in the chat if you think she's making a mockery out of this investigation and this disappearance of 15-year-old Sebastian. How many of you think this is a mockery? No, maybe Seth. I don't know. Jason, I guess it depends who you want to deem guilty, right? It's a mockery. This is an absolute joke. This is insulting to the fact that there is a 15-year-old little boy out there missing. I'm so glad so many of you see it because it's maddening when you see these people and all the, the praise that they're getting and the views and the channel growth. And as well as I know, they don't give a shit. They don't care. They just enjoy the attention it is bringing them. Just a bunch of virtue signaling. These YouTubers are really going in because Chris won't take a polygraph. Well, I wouldn't take one either. That's what I said earlier. How many 2s were dropped? I would never take a polygraph test by Nancy Grace. But Seth did. And they're still grading it. You know why? Because he went in heavily under the influence. That's what I said, Jason. We're already paying for the PIs, which I don't mind. I don't mind. But he even said himself, he was there for the first 3 days at the Proudfoot's home, at the crime scene, in his opinion, until his sister made a GoFundMe that the police recommended they don't make. And if the Proudfoots would have had a GoFundMe on day 3, oh my goodness.
Getting custody of Sebastian would help you immensely. And then you can deal with law enforcement more than, them putting you on the side burner. We lost Seth.
I'm glad he dropped down, because he saw at that moment what a mockery you were making to, and he dropped down. The police won't work with Seth because Seth won't keep his mouth shut. It is that simple. They have to work with integrity. Hey, Summer. They have to work in a certain way. They can't just have everybody out here know what they're doing. The 3 pairs agreed not to do it. That's when they all fell out. Right. He suspected them doing something nefarious. Why didn't you look for evidence those 3 days? That's what I keep saying, Penny. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, he didn't then. In my opinion, it is the opinions of these YouTubers that are weaponizing Seth and his vulnerability, that are getting in this man's head. They're giving him horrible legal advice, and they are making a mockery out of what is going on right now with Sebastian. We were this far in, and they still haven't mentioned his name. Clicky, click, click. He left for a reason. I mean, Seth's no dummy. He did. Oh, you're talking about Sebastian. I'm sorry. You can't figure out what happened there? You can't figure out why he jumped down after you made such an asinine remark about they have till noon? Yes, they worked great, they said. He praised the work efforts of the police. He said everything was great. And now it's not. And why is that? I don't know. I'll tell you what. Heather Cohen to assist in finding Sebastian. Tracy, did you see what Haskell put out the other day? I'm curious what you think of it. I'm actually going to get it in 1 second. I didn't think Brooks did this kind of stuff. Second chance. I think she's gotten lost in a lot of this. I think a lot of people have. It's disheartening. I'm going to go back to what I showed earlier to see what you all think of this. For those who maybe weren't in here, although. So they are basically claiming that they have a reason to believe that Sebastian is in school communities, and they are now focusing in Mississippi and 2 other states. Hey, Spudler. What do you guys think of that? If anything at all. Maybe you think nothing. The Monkey Vaughn case as well. Yeah, I seen that titanium. That's where it was stated that the Proudfoots, that the grandparents are hiding in the garage, and anytime a car drives by, they jump out and chase them. That they are just willy-nilly hiding in the garage. I thought she was against this stuff, but I see she has been supporting some of these creators that are harassing the parents. Yep. With the sound bites, and that's what she does too. But I found this to be concerning. Which,
totally understandable. It has been pretty crazy out here, and there has been a lot of speculation and a lot of theories and a lot of gossip, right? But let's continue. This is the part that I thought was very interesting. Right here, and I'm going to blow it up for everybody in the nosebleed seats. This right here, and this is from Uvalde Foundation for Kids. Okay, they say, we are now 100% convinced that the family of Sebastian Rogers know far more than has been revealed publicly. We are also now equally convinced that recent developments indicate answers to be revealed soon.
What do you guys think of that? That they're focusing in on school communities in different states. She was like, we do this because we are, while giving her a super chat, but I thought she needed money. Oh, you're talking about Brittany giving a super chat to Brooke saying, we do this because we care, but I just played her the other day stating that she does this because her view count is going up. Pascal has so many subs, he's not that great. You know where he lost me, Lucky Shot? When he said that Madeline Soto's mother was stigmatized, and he went on for 30 minutes about women being stigmatized. While discussing the assault, that sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. I can't. I just, listen, it's absolutely sickening. The fact of the matter is, I don't believe any of these people care. I don't care how many times they say, we're Sebastian's army, because a month ago they were Summer's army. And look how quickly Summer has once again taken a back seat. And the care made green hearts they claim they want in the chat, as they are also celebrating the green on their screen for making money. The fact of the matter remains that these people are absolutely working up Seth Rogers. They are creating so much damage when it comes to the investigation of Sebastian that police won't even speak to Seth anymore. They are hyping this man up. They are giving him the worst ever information, legal advice. They are feeding his anger, which is justified, but not realistic. He needs somebody who's going to tell him that people do care. Why are you trying to convince Seth Rogers that nobody cares about Sebastian? Why? That is not true. The police care. The public cares. The police would never take a payoff. They were Gannon's army, Sophie's army, Summer's army. Because it's not breaking headlines anymore, Jet. That's the sad truth. Yeah, stigmatized for a long part of this conversation.
So let me just do something really quick.
This
right here tells me, and like I said to you guys before, like I said it, somebody in that family knows something. Somebody does.
Maybe it's the guy
you cannot tell me that this kid just up and boom, just disappeared. Turned into a pink mist.
You can't. A pink mist. A pink mist. Because that's what happens, Pascal, when children disappear, they turn into pink mist. Do you know how many children disappear? Right from their bedrooms, right from their driveways, right from the mall. Children do disappear. I know they don't turn into a pink mist, Pascal.
Vaporized in front of the whole in his bedroom.
Yeah, because that's
okay.
Funny.
You cannot tell me
you're cute.
That he just turned into energy like powder.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
Remember
when
that movie Powder?
Disappear. Yeah, let's talk about the movie Powder.
There's no way. Okay.
How do people take that? This guy is a fucking salesman. How do people take him serious? You're making a mockery out of the fact that children disappear. No, they don't turn to pink powder. They don't vaporize. They don't kaboosh. They're usually being locked up and held somewhere and tormented. Again, another mockery.
Make that make sense. That was a deep cut, that Powder. But you know what I'm saying. Spoiler, he runs in the deep cut like Powder. Remember that movie Powder? There's no way. Okay? Make that make sense. That was a deep cut, that powder. But you know what I'm saying.
He's praising himself in his head. He is already cheering on what he said. That was a deep cut. Remember? And you can see when he tries to put on the act for the audience. Watch the facial change and the voice change.
Remember that movie that he just, okay? You cannot tell me that he just turned into energy like powder. Remember that movie, Powder? There's no way.
And then he has to screw on his eyebrows and remind everybody that this is supposed to be serious. Look at it.
Like powder. Remember that movie, Powder? There's no way. Okay?
You had to get back into the acting role, and that is what you're dealing with. A bunch of actors. It's Pendleton. I'm going to watch it. Totally giving up on him. It's so bizarre. Every time they point out something Proudfoots have done wrong, you don't see video evidence tearing down flyers. I know. I agree, Pixie. Where's the video of them laughing at the way Sebastian looks and dances? Sneering at him, making fun of him. Where's that? They literally never filed with case once it hits justice system because no longer high profile and they can't line their pockets. Yep. What changed Sebastian's life? He was going to live with Seth. Yep. Roses, I feel you. Was pounced on by Meghan Markle when it happened. He's describing Powder with that up on his screen. Ah, very interesting. So that's where we're at, guys. Listen, today was a lot. I didn't even know what direction this was going to go. I'm happy with the direction it did go. I'm not looking to trash any of the parents. But let's face it, there are red flags, okay, on both sides. But there's definitely red flags when it comes to Seth as well. And I don't know, is it misguidance? Is it YouTubers? Is it simply YouTubers getting in his head? Or the vibes that some of us are feeling are for a reason? I hope we find out soon. I hope we find out that Sebastian is safe, that he is alive, that he's being taken care of. I hope he comes home. And just a little reminder, trained search teams will again execute a ground search in wooded open areas. People are looking. Here is Sebastian on the TBI website. He's an Amber Alert. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's 15 years old. Brown eyes, brown hair, 5'5", 120 pounds. He's missing from Sumner County, Tennessee. Hey, T. Adams. Thank you, Tara. I didn't. What does that refer to? I've never even heard of something like that. Oh, when you hit an enemy fighter with a bullet or explosive and they're vaporized into a pink mist of blood and guts? We don't know. We don't know, Johnny. Blood and guts? That's what that means? What the fuck? When you hit an enemy fighter with a bullet or explosive and they're vaporized into a pink mist of blood and guts. Wow. Okay. That's nice, Pascal. That's nice if that's what you're thinking. Refers to a headshot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, let's rewind that back and hear it again from him because holy hell.
Tells me, and like I said to you guys before, like I said it, somebody in that family knows something. Somebody does. You cannot tell me that this kid just up and boom, just disappeared. Turned into a pink mist. Vaporized in front of the whole in his bedroom. Okay?
Oh.
You cannot tell me that he just turned into energy like powder. Remember that movie, Powder? There's no way. Okay? Make that make sense. That was a deep cut, that Powder. But you know what I'm saying. Spoiler, he runs in the middle of a field and he turns into energy.
Oh, thanks for your spoiler. Even if Kate did take magnets off her vehicle, she didn't put them on there, probably for a reason. Proud Puss did have flyers with them while they grabbed dinner on phone to organize search. I wouldn't want people putting magnets on my car as either. I wouldn't. Huh. I've never heard of pink misuse being used until Pascal has used it. Yep. When speaking about a 15-year-old missing autistic boy. Pink powder. And we got it, Pascal. I'm glad you want to make sure we all got it. Listen, I'm going to wrap this up. I have a lot of things to deal with. It's been a very insanely busy, stressful week. I do appreciate you all being here with me. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. It's the best way to keep us in the algorithm. It's a free way to show support to me and the channel. I appreciate all of you interacting with us here today. Appreciate all the memberships and the membership milestones. You all mean a lot to me. More than a simple thank you will do. I'll tell you that much. So you are greatly appreciated. Welcome to those who have found the channel today. I know the one chatter said she was out there putting out flyers and searching, and she was being stalked and filmed, and it made her so uncomfortable that she now is not helping in the search. And I bet you it aggravated and insulted her to hear Seth say that basically they're doing nothing. The searchers don't care. Seth, if by any chance you ever come across this and you hear this, I hope you recognize and realize that people do care. Maybe not the ones that are in your ears, but many people care about Sebastian, including the police, including locals, including volunteers, or none of them would be doing what they're doing. You're angry, you're hurt, and it's probably best that you stop speaking to these vultures on here, because your anger, your pain pays their bills. Hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Enjoy your Wednesday. And yeah, be safe out there.